All right, all right. Welcome back to This Week Inside the New York Knicks, episode 16. We rocking, man. Back in the building. Technical difficulties had to come back. Had an error message, had my mic off, but I should be good now. If you're in the building, you should be able to hear me. So that's the one record sit. Let's see if I could get some confirmations in the building that you can hear me. I know you can hear the sound effects. So we rocking out, man. Episode 16. I am the objective fan straight out of Kings County, New York City's finest. And you know the vibes, man. And this is the podcast. I'm doing it live because I missed out on the live play-by-play Saturday. So I figured let me do this live. So if some people want to chime in, they can. I anticipate most people will be watching this on the replay, and that's fine because typically that's how you watch the podcast as a premiere. So it is what it is. Welcome. And in this podcast, we talk about the Knicks 365. You give me give you 50 minutes, I give you the Knicks. So this podcast is just dedicated to covering all of the hot topics, all of the news involved with the Knicks. And of course, as you can see right above me, we'll be talking about February 19th to the 25th, all the events that took place between those time frames, man. So thank you guys once again for helping me, grow the channel. Definitely got a lot of subs within the past week. We're currently at the 672 mark, and so we're well above the light monetization level on YouTube. The next phase will be watch time hours, and I believe that we're within 200 hours, and so we can unlock those things like super chats and things of that nature. So definitely, if you're watching the podcast, watching the show, this is the live episode of the pod. So hopefully you can hear me. I had to restart the stream, but it seems like the sound is good. So we're rocking out. So welcome. Now we have a lot of topics that we're gonna be discussing. As you can see right next to me here, I got the Knicks versus Celtics game. We're gonna talk about that, how that game was crazy. And you know what? I'm more alarmed by how the fans responded to that game. I'm gonna get into that in a second. Also, we'd be talking about the Jalen Brunson cheat code, why he's a walking cheat code. That is the flagship topic for this video, for this episode. Then we also gonna be talking about OG and Anobi. His injury updates is looking very good for OG. I have another video that I'm gonna cook up talking about the injuries and the updates with that. We also be talking about Julius Randle as well, his updates. We'll talk about the Sixers game, which was actually a much needed win. We've been on a 4 game slide before that, primarily due to the fact that our front court was out. Of course, then we'll talk about the Pistons game tonight a little bit and much more, man. So welcome to the pod, man. I definitely want to give you guys a round of applause for rocking out with me through the technical difficulties, but we're gonna continue pushing forward. So let's switch over to research mode, man. Let's wait no further. So, all right, pal. So I like to start off with where we currently are in the season, right? Right now we're in fourth place. I'll go to the standings so you can see. All right, we're a full game ahead of the Sixers. Now, this fourth seed is not a bad place to be, but I feel like the goal should honestly be the third seed. We have to catch the Milwaukee Bucks. I feel like this is a must because you don't want to have to face the Celtics in that second round. So these are what Cleveland, Milwaukee, all these teams are jockeying for position right now because I knew the Celtics. I called them the regular season dream before the season started. So I already automatically knew that they were going to be a threat. They were going to be a problem. So I don't think that you would want to see them in the second round. And to prolong that matchup, everyone is jockeying for the 2-3 seed right now. That's Milwaukee, Cleveland. Of course, Cleveland's playing some really good basketball. They won 7 out of their last 10 games with a 73 record. They definitely have been holding it down. But the team right now that I'm kind of worried about is Milwaukee. They won their last 2 games since the break. It seems like Milwaukee is also getting it together. I still don't really have much faith in them doing much in the postseason. Making that coaching change so late in the season. I think that that's going to come back to bite you. I don't think that you can just figure it out so fast, so quickly, and solidify a great spot and even go on a deep run in the playoffs. So this Milwaukee, we have to catch Milwaukee. And I think it's a possibility, especially if we could get some of our starters back. Let's look at the stats for a little bit. So, salute to our first-time All-Star, Jalen Brunson. His numbers continue to go up. I mean, he's at that 27.6 mark. He's someone that I think can get to the 28, maybe 29, but definitely I could see him getting above 28 a game. Of course, Randle, he's out. He hasn't played. OG is out. He hasn't played. But those are our second and third options right there. And then you got Bohan giving us 14 a game since he's been a Knick. Now, I know a lot of people have been giving the new trade flack for Burks and Bohan. But I'm going to say this. You got to understand that we also had we were missing 4 starters, 3-4 starters since they got here. So you can't put the burden on them for us not winning the games that we didn't get a chance to win. So relax, man. Have patience, right? That trade was done for when the team is going to be fully healthy, not for when, to replace necessarily the production that we lost from the starters. It was more to be a supplement, right? I mean, not a supplement, but a complement. So, people getting on Alex Burks. I will get into that a little bit more in a second. So that's where we are. And Dante, he's kind of leveled out at that 13.7 mark. I was curious to see if he could push it to like 16, but we got a lot of offensive firepower. So even if he stays at that 13.7, that's like a point off from quickly. And then you also got Bohan giving you, if he can keep this 14 off the bench, I think that's good enough production offensively to keep it going. So we're going to jump a little bit into the Celtics game, right? Now, we wind up getting blown out 116-102. I think the largest lead of the game was 20, but if we could fact check that here. Yeah, 20 points. So, this game, honestly, I was kind of happy with the first half, the way the first half went. But the second half came, and I knew it was going to come. One of the keys that I wanted to have for this game, let me see if I could switch right quick to the play-by-play so I could show you I'm not capping. So I think this is, did I have it set up? Oh, yeah, okay, so I'm jumping in. So this was the live play-by-play screen for the Celtics game, right? These are the keys to victory, right? I wanted to limit Boston to 35% from 3. The reason why I said that or wanted that was because Boston, check this, their record is 11-10 when they shoot less than 35% from the 3. The Celtics is a premier 3-point shooting team. So when we jump back into research mode, right, you can see here, I'm jumping from screen to screen, y'all. Follow me. So they shot 42%, but check this out. In the first half of this game, they were flirting with that 35% mark, right? I'm shooting well below that mark. And the Knicks defense was outstanding. As outstanding as it could be without our starters in the first half, right? But that was the first half, because when the second half came, right, KP got into the fray. Sorry, my notes just clicked off. But KP got it going, right? And we held KP to how much he finished with? 22. So KP only had 9 points in the first half. Second half came, third quarter especially, he hit 3 threes. And I'll jump to the play-by-play just to show you I'm not capping, right? This was the screen I had set up for that Saturday night. Let's see what it says here. Perimeter defense on KP. So when KP got it going from downtown in that third quarter, it was like a dagger, man. It was eventually a hole that we couldn't dig ourselves out, because we already was at a mismatch without our 3 starters there. So once KP got it going, like I knew, KP has been the key every game. Yes, Jason Tatum is the best player. Don't get it twisted. But KP is the toughest matchup that we have in that any matchup against Boston. So salute to all the people in the building. This is the live pod. We're doing a live pod. Salute to Stephon Morgan. I see you. Knicks Nation in the building. Yes, we represent. And you know how that goes, man. Round of applause for Knicks Nation. So yes, definitely drop your messages in the chat. Don't know why it's not showing up on my computer, but I got it here on my phone. So I'll be interacting with the chat too. So let me know how you feel, especially as we talk. You can let me know how you feel about the Celtics game. I definitely will interact with you after I break down certain key points, right? So once again, so KP, he has been the thorn in our side, even though, like I said, Tatum is the guy who is the MVP of that team, and we're not going to act as though that Jason Tatum is not the best player, but our worst matchup has always been KP. KP is the most scary. KP is the reason why I give them the edge over us, only because his offensive prowess. I mean, listen, as I'm not a hater, so I could never hate, but I don't want to see the ops do well. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a hater, but I don't want to see the ops do well. And KP is somebody who he finds a way to get his 22, 23 points a night. If we could have held him to 15 and under, I felt like that would have been more than enough to neutralize the threat. But once he gets going from downtown, and then you had Jalen Brown. Jalen Brown had 30. He was killing us, right? That's another matchup that would be different when Randle and OG is there. Tatum wouldn't have such as easier time because let's keep it funky. As good as our defenders are in terms of Dante DiVincenzo, Deuce, and those guys, they're too short to guard Jalen Brown. Jalen Brown is what, 6'7"? No, he's 6'6", but he's a big 6'6". So, and then they also like to post him too. We didn't really get to see them post much. Tatum posted up a little bit, but Tatum wasn't really that effective from the field this game. But they like to post Tatum and Brown more so than they post KP, believe it or not. You know, KP is just, you know, he's an assassin. His average 3-point make is 27.5. Doris Burke said that in the broadcast. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, damn, he's shooting from 27 feet out on average. Like, that's crazy. So, you know, this game definitely was a game that we were overmatched. Notice how, and by the way, I did the video I told you I was going to do. It was titled Jalen Brunson, Why He Isn't Too Small, or Why He Is a Viable Star. But it was the basis of the video is that they keep saying he's too small. Throughout the game, Doris Burke, if I'm not sure if you listened to the game, right? Unfortunately, I didn't do the live play-by-play, so we had to listen to Doris Burke. Matter of fact, salute to Doris Burke. I like Doris Burke. She's good. But she kept saying that he's undersized. He's undersized. I'm like, why? They don't say that about nobody else. Why is Jalen Brunson, his size always come into question, right? I dropped part 1 to the first video. I know it's a 20-minute video, but I really broke down. I gave a, you know, I pretty much got like, I could make 2 more videos on this whole size thing. So I gave you at least a third of the material of why this whole Jalen Brunson is too small is cap, right? They don't say it about anybody else. I never heard them say Steph Curry is so good, but he's undersized. He may be undersized. I've never heard them say that. I don't understand why this is the theme for Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson, right, is listed at 6'2". I pointed it out in the video, right? But since we're live, and we look, he's 6'2", right? Now remember, they changed the standard for how height was measured. Everybody lost an inch because I think they did it from a certain point. I can't remember exactly what the change was to how they measure height. All I know is that after they changed the measurement, everybody dropped an inch. So according to the old standards, a 6'2" Jalen Brunson would have been 6'3". He's 190 pounds. How is he undersized? It don't make no sense to me. So, you know, that was the running narrative on the night.